Hi, and welcome back. Yes, Grandma did a thing. This is naturally curly hair. I didn't get a perm. It is another 90-degree day, and the garlic is ready. So, let's get started. All right. Now, these are soft neck garlic. It's not the ones that has the scapes on it. I have some, but they're not ready this year. What you want is you want garlic that has a few dead leaves on them and are starting to fall over. If you notice, a lot of these are leaning. They're not exactly falling over, but I have a feeling they're falling over from below the dirt. So we're going to go ahead and pull these along with the weeds. See, this is a small one, but it has a lot of roots. I'll show you what I do with my garlic. This year's batch is going to be powdered as well as black garlic. I started these off with the cloves that you get at Walmart. And I'm going to go ahead and put in a whole year's worth of garlic products in my house with about $5 worth of Walmart garlic. That one's a little bit better. It's still going to be black garlic. Now I am pulling these a little bit premature, about 2 weeks premature. We are hitting a heat wave, and some of these I'm still going to leave into the ground. But a lot of them are going to be pulled up. These cloves I left last year because nothing grew. I'm talking absolutely nothing grew. In fact, a lot of things died, like my grass. But I had cloves in this dirt, and I am actually going to get rid of this dirt once everything is pulled up, because I have a feeling that there was a batch of dirt that was going around that was really hurting gardeners last year, and I do believe that this is that dirt. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all this and redo it and refill it with the dirt that is on the driveway. I still have dirt on the driveway. It has been too hot, and I have been way too busy with this new project to be able to move it more than I have been more than too busy to be able to move more than 1 bucket a day, and I still have half of it left on the driveway. Tomatoes are doing okay. I did have some deer in here. I've been trying to see what I can do to block them off, but they've been eating my roses. All right, this is all the garlic I picked. we're going to do a few things here. This is how I usually process garlic, because even though it's soft neck garlic and you're supposed to braid it, you know, cure it, braid it, and everything else like that, I'm actually going to do something different. Because we don't need it to cure to make black garlic. What I am going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and cut off all the roots and the leaves, clean off all this dead stuff. We're going to grind this up and dehydrate it for garlic powder. And then I'll show you the beginning process of the garlic, the black garlic, because it does take a month, okay, to be able to get it finished. And I'll show you the process after the black garlic is done. But we're going to go ahead and remove the leaves, remove the roots, put this aside. We're going to clean this up and put this aside. We're going to clean all the roots and we're going to clean all the leaves. And we're going to go ahead and put them in the dehydrator after we grind them up. I found that that dehydrating something that's already been ground up in water is a faster process than dehydrating just this and then trying to dehydrate it and grind it up dry. I don't know why. Probably because it's easy. It's faster to grind it up, but even though you're hydrating what you're grinding. So we have the roots in there. We're going to go ahead and cut everything up. We're going to rinse everything off. And we're going to grind it. Doesn't have to be perfect, because we're going to be washing the dirt off anyway, along with any bugs. See this? I go ahead and take the yellow off, wherever that went. Here it is. And I'll compost that. Before I wash all of this, I'm going to show you. This is the garlic harvest. Okay, that's a lot of garlic. If I was going to grind everything up, this would last us 6 months. But I'm going to go ahead and start a different process for these. I'm going to film this for more of a compilation because it is going to take a month for this to happen. I want to show the entire process, so I'm going to go ahead and film that separately. But I do want to go ahead and show you what I do with the rest of the garlic pieces. And it's really simple. I dehydrate them and I make them into garlic powder, and this is going to last probably about 2 years. Now, that being said, I did save some of the garlic stems because I like to keep some of these, put these in the freezer for pickles, but I'm also going to go ahead and start a batch of pickles. These are all the greens, some of the stems. I'm going to keep some of them in there. But for the most part, This is all going to become powder. And this is all my dehydrator is going to fit. This is probably going to be more than one batch. Now, if you have more of a harvest to make garlic powder than intended, what you can do is that you can process this, grind this up, put the mash in all your trays, and if you have any left over, you can freeze the mash for a later batch. That way it doesn't go bad. Now, you see all the dirt that's coming out of this, because we are cleaning the roots as best as we can too, because the roots smell and taste like garlic. Nothing goes to waste. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get as much of the dirt out as we can, and do this a couple of times because it's going to take a while. All right, so for the last fill up on the sink, what I like to do is I actually like to put about a quarter cup of salt in the whole sink. Okay, what this does is it changes the pH level of the water to kill any bad bacteria that is on the plant, and if there's any little buggies, it will also kill the bugs that are lingering in the roots or in the leaves, because garlic and leeks are similar. And if you take a look, I think I've got a stem here somewhere that there's pieces, there's little hidden nooks that you want to kind of sort of get the dirt and the bugs out. So this will help with that. And I'm going to let this sit for about 15 minutes. Okay, here's the garlic stems. We're going to go ahead and drain these. Take these off. It is sewer fly season, and guess what? These work wonderfully. Now let's go ahead and rinse these off. Dry them off, and these, I'm going to keep some out for what I'm going to ferment today. But for the most part, I'm going to put these in a freezer bag for later use. And I was asked in an earlier video what this was. This is a salad spinner. It has the strainer right here, and it has a bucket to catch all the water. So let's go ahead and put this in an area where it can somewhat drip dry, and then we'll put them in bags. I like using my cardboard boxes because I can put these on top of the refrigerator. And these do dry out pretty well. I think we got these 3 years ago. And we're going to go ahead and do the rest of the garlic. Try to get as much of the stuff out as possible. You are going to have a lot of, still have a lot of, depending on, of debris, depending on the dirt that you're pulling out of, the dirt that this was in had a lot of bark in it. So I've been working on getting all the bark out as much as possible. I am working on trying to get a setup to where I can start doing this outside. That's just going to take some time. Let's see how much is in there. I think one more should do it. Now let's go ahead and spin this up. Drain this out and continue. First, we're gonna go ahead and mark our bag. But now, even though it's obvious what we have in here. So 23 garlic stems. And put some in here. It only takes a few of these to make a pickle, to do a jar of pickles. One, maybe two of these little pieces. So unless you're doing a heck of a lot of pickling, just go ahead and freeze these. And I like to cut these in shorter lengths, only because sometimes I just want to do a small jar. I don't want to do like a large jar every time. We are going to go ahead and put a few of these in here. If you want to make dill and garlic, you can add dill seed or dill, you know, whole fronds of dill. That's what I used to do whenever I had dill. I don't have them this year. So that's going to last a while. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and pickle whatever you want. Now, I thought I had cucumbers. I don't, so I'm going to have to put that in a different video. Now, for the purpose of this video, we are going to go ahead and blend some of these. Now, for my dehydrator, I have several different ones. I have two dehydrators. I have a round one and a square one. We're just going to use the square one. But I do need to get more of these trays, because these it can hold liquid, and we're going to put them in my dehydrator. We're also going to go ahead and dry some of the greens for later use as well. So you don't have to make them powdery, you just need to dehydrate them for storage. So in order to be able to powder these, this is the easiest way that I've found to powder these, because if you don't do it this way, whenever you just dehydrate and dry these whole, what's going to happen is that it's going to, you're still going to be able to powder them, but if you don't have a powerful enough blender, if you have like maybe a bullet or whatnot, you're going to have chunks of dried garlic in with your powder, and it's not going to powder evenly. You need to do this in batches. There is no other way of doing this. All right, and you just want to add just enough water to get it moving and make kind of like a garlic slushy. And once you have it nice and slushy, you're going to still have bigger pieces in here. It's not going to be perfect. And spread this out as most even as you can. Now during the drying process, you can go ahead and break it up. But I typically like to have this running overnight. And you can go ahead and drain off as much of the water as you want. Now, if you want to make this into garlic salt, add salt to the blender. I wouldn't say for this no more than a teaspoon. It's that way you know how much salt is there. You can still taste the garlic without having it overly salty. And that's how you make garlic salt. So let's go ahead and put this in the dehydrator and continue with the rest of this. How to break out the food processor. Time to go to Walmart to get a new blender. It happens. Hey, I actually got all of those greens nice and mashed. Now, like I said, get this as thin as you can. If you got more trays, use them. Because it's going to take, for me, being this wet, probably going to take a full 24 at about 140. You don't want to, you want to evaporate the water. You want to dehydrate everything down, but you do not want to cook it. I don't recommend going over 140 with this. Now, if you have one of those round ones that you got at the garage sale because somebody upgraded, just keep an eye on it, because those things only have one temperature and one temperature only. It's called high, and you can cook your garlic. You really don't want to cook it. You can if you want. It just changes the taste. You notice there's going to be a lot of water. It'll go away, but it will leave the residue. It'll leave this green stuff on there, and you can go ahead and powder that with everything else. Now after this is nice and dehydrated, it'll come out like a puck. What you want to do is you want to re-blend that puck and then put it in at a 140 again in a more powdered form for another 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. The reason for this is because you want to get all the moisture out, because whenever you put this in a container, you don't want it to mold. And I am going to be stirring this up about every 6 hours or so, trying to fluff it up a little bit to try to get as much of this water off as possible. Okay, I have all my trays, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trays full of garlic mash. We're going to go ahead and put this in, turn this on at 140. We are going to go ahead and start with the timer for 12 hours. Then we're going to go back and start it over again for another 12 hours. And you're going to continue that on until everything is done. There are so many ways to process and to preserve garlic. The reason why I'm doing mostly everything that I grew powdered is because my jar is empty. You can cut the greens up into kind of like scallions, but they will be like more like garlic scallions. You can use those in your cooking. The bulbs, you can go ahead and process the way that you like. You can pickle them. You can dehydrate those as well, just like I'm doing with the greens. I'm going to go ahead and show you what's called black garlic. It's a different process. Black garlic is not cooked garlic. It is not burnt garlic. That's a whole different flavor profile. This is something completely different. I love this. The amount that I made 3 years ago, that lasted me 3 years, okay, was in the small crock pot. I am going to double that because we're going to eat a lot more black garlic. Black garlic butter is what I am after, and we will go ahead and work on that process. But like I said, it's going to take about a month for that to happen. Thank you for joining. We'll see you next time.